In today's news, 3 BVI residents potentially facing life in prison after being allegedly caught with 667 kilos of cocaine on board a vessel off St. Croix.
The Tortola Pier Park, that's the Cyril B. Rumney Tortola Pier Park bubble. What does that even look like?
And residents share their views on the measures they believe need to be taken to reduce the present COVID-19 spike in the BVI.
We're catching up with 6th District Representative as they undergo a number of projects. That's the Honorable Alvera Maduro Keynes. She provides an update.
And the Omicron variant, now the most dominant strain of the COVID-19 virus in the BVI, says Acting CMO. But we get to these and more stories when 284 News return.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We are coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Some of the headlines that we're looking at today closely, of course, the Honorable Health Minister is telling the Environmental Health Department, that is, to beef up their staff. Of course, the CMO is advocating for UK's 10-day COVID-19 isolation versus the CDC's 5-day period, and the court hearings have been moved online. Prison visits are also suspended amid COVID-19 surges.
Well, viewers, we start today's newscast on a recent drug bust involving several BVI residents, where 3 British Virgin Islands residents are among 4 persons potentially facing life in prison after being allegedly apprehended in close proximity to St. Croix with allegedly 667 kilograms of cocaine on board their vessel. Well, this was first revealed by the VI Consortium on Monday, January 10th, which listed the 3 BVI residents as Shannon John, Sean John, and Emmanuel Tolentino Lebron. Well, the trio were jointly charged with Dominican Republic national Augusto Rodriguez Molina with possession with intent to distribute more than 5 kilograms of cocaine on a covered vessel and conspiracy to commit the same offense. Well, according to the VI Consortium, court documents revealed that on January 9th at around 3:30 p.m., Customs and Border Protection, Air and Maritime Operations, along with Homeland Security investigations, detected a 32-feet vessel headed north towards the vicinity of the British Virgin Islands. Reports revealed that when law enforcement officers approached the vessel, it was dead in the water. The officers allegedly found 667 kilograms of cocaine packaged in approximately 20 block-shaped bales on board the vessel, which was captained by Shannon John. If convicted, the quartet faced a maximum penalty of life imprisonment, a sentence which a federal district court judge could determine after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. Around here, we see somewhat of a continuation of more drugs being caught, in the vicinity of the Virgin Islands, whether it be the United States Virgin Islands or the British Virgin Islands. But in essence, more drugs being caught and apprehended by law enforcement.
And Kamal, the war on drugs continues, and we're thankful that again they're taken off the street. Viewers, we're continuing on a local story. Yesterday, January 10th, 2022, the Norwegian Dawn arrived to the Tortola Pier Park at 6 a.m. and left at 12 p.m. with some 1,041 passengers and some 1,058 crew. Now, the Cyril B. Rumney Tortola Pier Park, as is customary, informed clients of the Pier Park on the arrival of the ship and whether or not, in this case, passengers were not allowed to free flow and on a bubbled tours as per protocols. Now, the blast message to the Pier Park clients, as per the information, said, and I quote, "In addition to what we stated, as per the information received, guests are not allowed to free flow and are on a bubbled tours as per protocols." Now, viewers, the Cyril B. Rumney Tortola Pier Park, when contacted for further clarity on that bubble, advised that the Chief Environmental Health Officer to be contacted, as the matter is one for the health officials. Efforts to reach the Chief Environmental Health Officer, Mr. Lionel Michael, were initially unsuccessful. However, after the publishing of this article, he did promise and reached out to us on a statement which we are yet to receive. Now, since the onset, viewers, of COVID-19, the government of the Virgin Islands has remarked on the bubble concept for quite a while, and to date, residents as well as visitors do not have a clear understanding on what that bubble is or looks like. No one has been able to accurately explain to residents and business owners across the Virgin Islands, whether it be at the Tortola Pier Park or across the territory, what that means, entails, or looks like. Many business owners, in speaking to our newsroom, also expressed their desire and request to just officially understand what that means and what the bubble concept entails. However, they too were provided with no explanation. Now, when contacted by our agency, the BVI CCHA, which has served as the representative for the BVI business community for the past 50 years, said they have not been notified of what the bubble concept entails or looks like since the onset of COVID-19. Kamal, the health officials here in the British Virgin Islands continue to do their very best. We would agree with that in securing not only residents and visitors alike. What I think we're failing in this particular instance is a lack of communication. No one is saying that the bubble concept, whatever that looks like, is not working. I, in my regular duties as a resident, really observed today the passengers coming off of the cruise ship today. And they seemed organized. They were in a strict line. Some seemed like they were just a family of maybe 6 to 12 otherwise, and they were going specifically to taxi drivers who had an organized agenda when it comes to whether it was a beach or a tour. That understanding is clearly stated when it comes to the Tortola Pier Park. What my problem is, and I think what the residents of this territory's problem is why is whatever the bubble looks like such a big secret? Can we not explain to residents and visitors what that looks like? Persons who are on the Western Island, take for example King Garden Bay, who are experiencing visitors, what does that look like? Or perhaps some of these ships who go to the sister islands such as Virgin Gorda. I know in some cases beaches were off limits to local at a particular time. All we're asking, and I think all the general public, particularly the business owners, are asking is for a clear understanding of what that looks like. It seems to be working, and we're happy that it is, but can you clearly outline what is taking place?
Well, just to comment shortly on that, as you said, there had to be a breakdown in communication somewhere, because according to my understanding of the situation, there was initially somewhat of a description of the bubble, where there were initial meetings with the Chief Environmental Health Officer and his staff and businesses. I guess it's a matter of who was there at the point in time of this and whether the whole concept of bubble would have changed over time.
Correct.
Since then. So I think that's where the major concern
and whether or not it has changed hands, because when you look at something like the Tortola Pier Park, that agency is automatically referring you, they have no comment, they are referring you to the health ministers and the Chief Environmental Health Officer.
Indeed. Well, viewers, up next, residents share their views on the measures they believe need to be taken to reduce the present COVID-19 spike in the BVI. And District 6 undergoing a number of projects. Honorable Alvera Maduro provides update on that subject. Well, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a brand new season of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and, bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. This season, I'm taking you on an entirely different journey, from chefs to dancers, philanthropists, communications specialists, and much more. I'm heading outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Bojangara, Jackson Lake, not forgetting Anigata. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing, and I'm so proud. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redirect. We are the movers and shakers of this generation, and we ain't afraid to show it. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 3 by yours truly, Ron Grant, raising a generation of greatness.
Our viewers, welcome back. The cross-section of residents in the territory are of the view that adhering to the existing COVID-19 protocols and policing oneself is a solution to reducing the present spike in the territory. But this after 284 News reached out to random residents on the streets of Rural Town who each share their views on the measures that need to be taken to reduce the present high COVID-19 positive spike in the territory. But they said that if the aforementioned measures are not adhered to, then it is ultimately up to the government to impose more stringent measures to help curb the present spike. I'll take a listen to this report. Well, good day, viewers. I am Kamal Haynes of 284 Media, and today I'm here at the Tortola Pier Park. We're about to do something a little different, where we're going to be interviewing random people on the subject of COVID-19 and the present spike here in the BVI. Well, Minister of Health Carvin Malone did say that on Tuesday, January the 11th, he will be going to Cabinet to decide on whether more stringent measures need to be placed to help curb the spike in the territory. We'll get the opinion of persons here to hear what their take on what they think need to be done to help curb the present spike. Viewers, stay tuned and take a listen. I'm here with Sulika here at the Tortola Pier Park, and she's about to comment on, what do you think need to be done to help curb the spike of COVID here in the BVI?
Well, more encouraging and to protect themselves, to encourage the tourists and visitors to be mindful, to wear their masks, to follow the protocol, and so we can reduce it more for the safety of the community.
And also, do you think a curfew would help? What do you think government will be deciding on today, Tuesday, regarding measures in the BVI?
Well, about curfew, it will be too another thing because, for example, when you are more out at the street, like dancing and that kind of stuff, it's more easy to get the virus. They have to control a little more, like the sharing, the meeting and stuff, like in the dividing the amount of people, like not too much people to allow to be in the places. To be conscious in that too much people in one place can be more spread than in a little bit.
I also spoke to another resident by the name of Chris, who also shared similar sentiments that policing oneself and adhering to the COVID-19 measures is the way forward.
I believe that everybody should take responsibility for themselves as in order to avoid the spreading of the COVID. Go along with the protocol and be our own security as to what it is. Wash your hands, keep your mask on, and everybody is peaceful, keep the distance. But if they have failed to do so, then we have no choice than to certain places that they are lacking that we need to look in at and put more pressure onto that place, and then everybody will be good from there. But most importantly, we need to take care of ourselves and do what we need to do as citizens to keep the BVI free from that COVID thing.
Okay, so in other words, as you're saying, we need to police ourselves better, adhere to the existing COVID-19 protocols. If that is not done, then government has all right to implement whatever stricter measures. Is that what you're saying as well?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what we need to do, because as the people want BVI, let's work together and look out for each other. You understand? So in that way, we need to police ourselves better, and much better as that.
In addition, I spoke to Miss Florence, who is of Haitian descent, who said COVID-19 is going nowhere. Her view is that persons should seek vaccination where applicable or simply boost their immune systems to protect themselves from getting sick with the virus.
Well, I believe are you going to live with that? Live with the corona, and if you're there, you're supposed to take care of yourself. If you tell you take vaccine, you take the vaccine, you listen to the doctor, you listen to the people. But you must do something. Drink your bush tea and, take care of yourself. If you don't want to do that, government don't have no money now to go close the place. No money now to close the place. So only thing we would do, try to please yourself and try to please the government too, because no money to go close the place now.
So in other words, you're saying basically because the government doesn't have any money right now to close down the place,
No.
people need to adhere to the COVID measures. People need to go and get boosted and
tea,
vaccinated and stuff.
Yeah, vaccine, vaccine make bush tea in the night, make bush tea in the morning, Have a lot of bush tea here. I'm not from here, I'm from Haiti, but I know I make bush tea every day. Corona te bichang, me never get it. Even now, me never get it. Me no have no one in my family get it because you think every morning me make sure you make tea for them. Make bush tea for them, make bush tea, but them no. When you tell them you want some bush tea, not be tired of want it. No, you must to drink it. You must to drink it. So government can do nothing for the place. What he can do? No money in the place, no money. People get I can come in my shop Tortola. After Corona come in, he can help, he can do nothing. So what you can do, people must to live with that. You must to live with that.
Last but not least was a resident who referred to himself as Rich, who opted not to put his face on camera, but his view was similar to the previous responses that the people of the territory need to abide by the existing COVID-19 protocols to allow for the high case numbers to return to normal levels.
I think people just need to follow the protocols that establish mask wearing, social distancing, and washing of hands, sanitizing, and all that stuff. Because, there's a lot of events that go on, but the real problem is a lot of people are not wearing the mask, especially not properly. So there's viruses flying around. People just need to do what they need to do, and it will limit the number. Not saying that we won't have any numbers, but they'll be low. Because I'd rather 10 people than over 1,000.
So in other words, you don't think measures such as curfew, lockdowns, or anything are needed at this time? It's all about policing oneself?
I think if they might end up having to do that if people just don't do what they're supposed to do.
Well, there you heard it, viewers, from a number of persons basically lending their opinions on what they believe need to be done to help curb the present COVID-19 spike in the BVI. But the overall consensus was about policing ourselves and about adhering to the existing COVID-19 protocols. And as the persons did say, once those measures are not adhered to, well, it's all up to the government to do what needs to be done in the interest of the territory. Well, I'm Kamal Haynes reporting for 284 News. Well, a very interesting feedback from some of those residents basically commenting on what they think needs to be done wrong. Ultimately, we will have to wait until probably the next few days to find out what cabinet decided today, whether they will be implementing more stringent measures or whether, they will keep stuff as it is presently while implementing just a minute measures to help with this current spike.
Very happy to hear from the residents of the Virgin Islands as they weigh in on the present situation. Viewers, there is lots going on development-wise within the 6th electoral district, which happens to be one of the very busy districts. We caught up with the Honorable Alvera Maduro who really explained to us, as you can see, the community center in Personal Estate is undergoing a number of repairs. Now, the Honorable Minister for the 4th District, the Honorable Mark Vantapool, recently in a statement said that he felt like the 4th District needed a community center. He said that plans were already in place and approved within the Ministry of Communications and Works, for which he was also at the time the minister responsible. However, there is question as to whether or not we do have too many community centers within the British Virgin Islands. Almost every district from West End to East End has a community center, and to be honest with you, a lot of them are underutilized. They're not occupied by persons, they're not occupied by people, they're occupied by goats or cows or vagabonds, whatever you want to call it. And for Honorable Minister, who has actually been in the House for a very long time, the 4th District is a very popular, so I can understand why he would want the 4th District to have a community center. But is it really viable? Does it even make sense at this very moment when you have the community center, the sports complex, the Sir Rupert Brickliffe Hall is not accessible. You have a lot of different basketball courts. Do we actually need a community center, or another one rather, within the 4th District? I want to take you to the 6th District, where repairs are being done on the Purcell Estate Community Center. This community center has been built a number of years ago, and to be honest with you, it was not maintained. Little to no work was done. It was vandalized. Of course, the hurricanes of 2017 had something to do with that, but this is just another example of when we're asking for facilities across the territory, when legislators are asking for facilities across the territory, are they, one, in a position to make sure, manage, and upkeep them? And two, are the residents within these districts even willing? Do they even want the community centers? Take a look.
There's quite a number of little projects that is going on in District 6 as we speak. Number one is the refurbishing of the Gertrude and Catherine Warner Community Center within Puzzle. It was severely destroyed by the storms, and some vandalism had gone on in there. The walls are a total mess from the leakage in the roof and the gutterings. And the construction company that was chosen to do the work, I must say, is doing an extremely great job. I took a tour with the minister about a month ago to look at the upgrades that were going on and the refurbishing, and it's going well. A generator was bought for the building, so a shed or a house has been erected to house the generator in case power goes. Unfortunately, we had to put the bars on the windows and doors, to help safe keep the building itself, because it is one of the biggest and most used centers we have on the island. So we have to try and preserve it the best we could. Most of the work on the outside, is near to completion, and they have started inside, and I'm impressed. The bathrooms you know were a mess, as well as the kitchen. New appliances were bought for the kitchen, and we're refurbishing the cabinets and everything in there. So I am pleased with the project, the progress that is going on presently on that center.
Viewers, that was the Honorable Alvera Maduro Kane's 6th District Representative, really speaking to not only the repairs at the community center in Purcell Estate, which, as she mentioned, was not only affected by the hurricanes of 2017, but officially was just vandalized and miskept. Now, she also spoke to some other projects that are taking place within these 6 districts. Listen in.
If you take a look through the district, you'll see some beautification work going on. We're trying to do some extra beautification within the fisherman's wharf. Of course, you see now most of these Christmas decorations are down. We we're going to install some pergolas, to make the place look a little more inviting. We've ordered a cage, so to speak, to put to protect the birds of Omahaj. We've added some benches, and we have some more should be here next week. So the could have a lot more seating in there, because I've noticed in the evenings a lot of family goes there sometimes to sit and just have the dinner. Or, I would see lovers walking through the little park and sitting on the benches. So, it was a much needed attraction. So we're gonna put some extra benches and have the pergola set up. Eventually, hopefully this year, hopefully we would have a bathroom built there, so persons don't have to venture out, to use bathrooms from the surrounding businesses. Not that they mind, because they said it's okay, but we're going to do that. And as you notice too, the sidewalks are being painted and the guardrails in certain parts of the district, going to Fish Bay, coming down to Stone Heaven. um, Much of the work is still going on, so you won't really see like a whole big burst one time. But I figure in another month or two, um, the little projects that we're doing to beautify would be finished. We were trying to finish most of them for Christmas, but we didn't. We refurbished the covered seats that are in CSY or Baba Jean Beach. We will stain them and put some coconut strips on the top, coconut branches, to make it look a little more local, a little more local, more cultural. Because what I've noticed is that some of the taxi men, thanks to them, they do stop there, and I've noticed tourists, get out and take pictures and, admire the colored rocks, the rocks that the kids had painted as a project. So Those little things, they might look little to people, but they really count throughout your district. And, the tourists enjoy looking at that. So, there is much improvement, like I said, to be made. And hopefully in the next 2 months, you'll see a big change, especially when you're driving down the road um, past Beach Club. We're going to do some work there on the side of that road. So, we're doing what we can with what we have, and it's the little things that really count, like I said, and locals and tourists would appreciate. So, we're doing some things in District 6. I've gotten money allocated on a line item to build that long overdue wall and road rehabilitation project in past the Alexandrina Maduro Primary School. There were persons who have to walk up that hill because the road has been, you know, decayed so bad from the storms. So we're finally on the road to getting that fixed, to getting that project go so that persons now may be able to drive to their homes and not pack on the field and walk. So, little by little, we're getting there, and you can see the movements going on in District 6.
That was the Honorable Alvera Maduro.
Well, viewers, moving on with the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus has been ruled to be the most dominant variant presently in the British Virgin Islands, surpassing the Delta and the Mu variants. But this was confirmed by the Acting Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ronald Georges, during a recent press conference. Well, he said the discovery was made after half of the positive COVID-19 samples dating back from mid-December, which were sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad, returned positive for Omicron.
As Minister said, cases that came in that were tested, I think from December 18th, those are showing about 50% of those cases submitted for genetic typing were Omicron. And this is how Omicron functions. It comes in and it slowly outcompetes all other variants to become the dominant variant. So by now, given the numbers and the rapid increase, we can safely guesstimate that Omicron is the dominant variant of COVID in the BVI.
Well, Dr. Georges said that medical experts in the territory had previously suspected that the current spike in the BVI was linked to the Omicron variant. Well, he said this was due to the many similar traits of the virus that were observed in the reported positive cases.
We would have noticed over the last 2 to 3 weeks the very severe increase in numbers of cases. I think persons would also have noticed that the cases amongst the general population are much milder. The infection is milder. Yes, we do have a number of people hospitalized, but they're also being discharged quicker than the previous surge. We also have nobody in ICU and fewer persons needing, persons are simply on low flow oxygen. So fewer persons needing more intense medical therapy when admitted to the hospital. So clearly this is a completely different picture to what we experienced early this year when we had pretty severe clinical picture. A number of persons the second week of that surge were coming to the emergency room with difficulty breathing. We had a number of persons in ICU. So a different picture. So based on that picture, a milder profile, a much quicker increase, it was obvious that we were dealing with something different.
Well, the Acting CMO said that with the confirmation of the highly contagious variant, it means that in the coming days, more cases are expected to be recorded. What this, he said, could mean that more hospitalizations will be likely despite the mild nature of the virus.
So what does that mean for us? So that means that we're going to see quite an increase in cases. The doubling time for Omicron is considered between 2 and 3 days. So Omicron is much more efficient at spreading from person to person, and the increases in numbers are much more drastic than the other types of other variants that have been in circulation. So that's one point. The other point is that Omicron tends to be milder in most persons. So you have a larger proportion of asymptomatic and very mildly symptomatic patients or clients. We would note that people who have had infections describe a sore throat, itchy throat, head cold, stuffy nose. A few of them have chest cold. and some of them are more severe and have to go to the emergency room. But by and large, a lot of people have very mild symptoms for a short period and then recover. So that is the picture of Omicron. The challenge here is, even though it's mild, the sheer numbers of cases that are created can lead to significant hospitalizations.
Well, viewers, the last COVID-19 stats in the territory was some 1,272 active cases, 16 hospitalizations, and 40 COVID-related deaths. There were also 243 recoveries. But viewers, that's all we have for today's newscast. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We will see you tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content right here out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Tuesday to one and all. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.